Who's ready to get ahead? Check this out. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney. I am so excited for today's video. I am getting ahead. I've got some really fun DIY gift ideas that you could also sell if you need a little side hustle this holiday season. So without further ado, let's get crafting. Lately, I've been getting a lot of requests for paper crafts, and y'all, this one is a gorgeous one. So I absolutely am obsessed with these gorgeous cake toppers that you can create. This is a perfect item, as you can see, to sell, or you could really make something super special for someone you care about. So to start this craft, I'm grabbing some of my favorite cardstock from Cricut. I absolutely love their cardstock because they've got tons of colors and their glitter cardstock is super sturdy, which is really going to help build this project. The first step in this project is to open Cricut Design Space, which is the free software that comes with your Cricut. I absolutely love this because that front page gives tons of ideas for you, but what I like to do is go up to the little search in the top left-hand corner and type in the word of what I'm looking for, and then what will pop up are all of the images that Cricut has that you could choose from, any projects maybe that you've tagged with those, along with Cricut projects and community projects, so lots of resources here to get you started. So once I've gone in and started searching, I typed in happy birthday and I started searching through all of the images that Cricut had. I found this one and thought, you know what, we're going to make a level 1 cake topper because some of these get so elaborate, but we're going to start easy and not too complicated. The first step is to put an offset over your design. This offset's going to turn out to be the base layer of our cake topper. It needs to be sturdy. That's why I'm using that glitter cardstock, because it works flawlessly with the Cricut machine. They pride themselves on making their materials work really well with the machines. So here I've got an offset. I'm going to size it down to where I want it, to where it kind of just leaves a little bit of a border all the way around. Now, once I've done that, you need to duplicate it. So I'm going to make a second copy, but here's the kicker. Once you've made that copy, you need to flip it horizontally so that you're going to end up with a pretty front and back on your base layer. So that way we don't have a white background. We're going to have glitter on the back, glitter on the front. Since this is going to have some 3D element to it, I want to have 2 sets of the letters. So to get another set of colorful letters, I just duplicated the happy birthday, I ungrouped them, and then I'm going to delete the black layer, which will leave me with the colorful letters. So when this cuts, it's going to cut my 2 offset pieces, which are the base of our cake topper. It's going to cut 1 black piece and 2 sets of every letter. I sent my design to my Cricut Maker 3, and one thing I find very helpful with this type of design when there's so many colors is to work with 2 mats. So while one is cutting, you are loading up the second mat and it goes really, really fast. With everything cut, this is what we've ended up with. We've got our black happy birthday outline, 2 sets of the colored letters, and then 2 pieces of the glitter cardstock, which is going to be the base of our cake topper. Now, when I'm working with paper crafts, this is my favorite glue to use. It's Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. It works really well with the Cricut material cardstock, and it's got 2 different tips, so highly recommend this if you do paper crafts. You'll also need some foam adhesive dots. This is going to help give us our 3D kind of depth. And then as far as putting it in your cake or cupcake, you can use coffee stir sticks. I just picked up this pack from Amazon. If you're going to sell it, you might want to go a little fancier and use some acrylic sticks. Also, you can pick those up on Amazon. And I quickly wanted to show you, this is why we flipped that one design. As you can see, you've got the pretty front and back. So that is why we flipped it. Now we are ready to start assembling. So start by grabbing your base layer, which is our glitter cardstock. And I'm going to be using 2 coffee stir sticks. You're going to attach those with the craft glue. And then as far as putting glue around it, don't put it right on the edge, but go all the way around, kind of come in a little bit on the inside, because when you press it together, you don't want glue seeping out over the edges. So go ahead and get that glue and push these 2 pieces together, and then weight it down a little bit so that it can be drying while you work on the next step. Now we want to work on our next layer. So that's going to be the black happy birthday. I'm just going to set all of my letters on here. Now I did do a little oopsie on one of the Y's. I actually As you can tell right there, that orange one, I put it in there wrong, but you know what? It is what it is. So you're going to lay those out and then glue them down. Again, I really love this because it has a precise thing. So even though these letters are super skinny, I was able to glue on there without it seeping out. So we want to glue all of these letters down to that black layer. It's time to grab our foam square dots. Now these were small, but I needed them even smaller, so I ended up cutting each one of these in half. And this is where we're going to kind of build our 3D raised element by putting our second set of letters on top of the first one. Now, when you go and you're working with letters, one thing you need to make sure that you do is, for instance, on the H, the R, the T, the A, the Y, where part of the letter, it's not rounded and it kind of goes off in a straight line. I don't know how to describe that. You want to make sure you get foam pieces there, because what could happen is if you're in a humid area, those letters might kind of curl a little bit, if that makes sense. So you just want to make sure you secure the edges of all the letters. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going through, cutting these in half, getting these all secured, and applying my second set of letters. Now the last step is to apply our final layer, which is the happy birthday word. So I'm going to grab a ton of these foam dots and put them all over the happy birthday, and then stick that down on my gold cardstock. And I absolutely love how this turned out. My daughter's 21st birthday is coming up in a few weeks, so I cannot wait to put this in her cake. But again, this is kind of a level 1 cake topper, but you definitely could go crazy and add so many fun, different things to a cake topper. This next idea has many possibilities. It definitely could be a gift idea. Again, you could sell it, and there's so many different variations. I found this cute glass house in the Hobby Lobby clearance aisle, and the first thing I did was clean the top of it with some rubbing alcohol, because anytime I apply the permanent adhesive vinyl, I like to do that to make sure it'll adhere really well. And I found a design in Cricut Design Space and printed out a Let's Stay Home. So this is going to be a date night in little kind of jar that you can pull ideas from. But again, you could do so many variations. You could do a chore, you could do a bucket list, you could do so many different ideas. Once I got my Let's Stay Home decal applied, I went into Cricut Design Space and decided to create some circles, and I used the Cricut markers to write out my date night ideas and put it on some of Cricut's cardstock that is a sticker. Okay, so this stuff actually would work really well for cake toppers as well, because it's already adhesive, it's super sturdy. So this is definitely something else you could use in addition to cardstock for cake toppers. And all I did was just size them down a little bit so that my wood rounds would have a little bit of a border, and I just applied my stickers directly to it and then threw them in the little house, and voila, we've got some date night ideas for those nights where we want to stay in. This project starts with one of these bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree Plus section. You might remember last year when I made a hot chocolate charcuterie board. Well, I wanted to make another version of that, something that you could use every day, more often, something that would definitely be a great gift idea because you could totally make a whole basket with it. So I grabbed some of the Cricut stencil vinyl, which I love this smart vinyl. Y'all, it's my favorite vinyl. And you don't have to have the mat. And one thing awesome about the smart materials is you can cut up to 12 feet. So that's kind of a bonus with their materials. So what I did is I found a bunch of different circles in Cricut Design Space, and I sized it to where I just had circles all over. And then I added the words snack time to my stencil. I applied my stencil vinyl to the cutting board, and then I grabbed out my torch paste. Now, one thing about torch paste is you definitely want to make sure your vinyl, your stencil vinyl that you put down is really sealed. I did my best to make sure, but I missed a couple of spots. So you just want to make sure it's pressed down, and this vinyl is really good for that. It was just kind of a user error on my part. But once you get the torch paste on there, you want to put a thin layer on there, let it sit for 3 minutes, and then pull off your vinyl. From there, you want to take your heat gun. You gotta have the Hunga Munga heat gun. It will not work or activate with these small crafting heat guns. You gotta have a big one, and you want to hit it with heat. I just went around and hit it with heat, and there were a couple of spots where I, again, didn't get torch paste or I didn't seal it completely. You can kind of tell where they are, but I did go back in, and one thing about it is you can kind of fix those little mistakes just by taking something and scraping at the wood and scraping off that extra. It'll kind of flake off and you're good to go. The final step here is to get it food safe. So first, you have to let it cool completely. Let it be completely cooled. And then what I like to do is I just use baby wipes to wipe off any excess until I get it nice and clean. From there, you need a food sealer. I like to use the Howard Butcher Block. Now, this works best if you warm it up a little bit. And what I do is I apply my first coat with the grain of the wood, and then I let it dry really well. From there, after it's dried, I do a second coat and I go against the grain. Again, letting it dry. Then I do a third coat with the grain, let it dry. And then I go against the grain. I would say 5 coats is what I feel comfortable doing with. You could go 3 to 4, but I just, better safe than sorry. So that is how I seal it. And then just you let it set up. And now you are ready to fill in this really cute snack time tray. Again, you could make this a great gift by getting a basket together and putting popcorn and chips and candies and nuts and all kinds of fun things. But it's a fun way to have some snacks. Here's a way to elevate your gift giving. So I've got some of the iron-on foil from Cricut. Now, one thing that you might get a little confused about is when it says to place it down on the mat, it says to put the liner side down. That actually means the foil side. I know some people might think it's that white side, but it's the foil. And what I've got here is I made the Cricut Heat Guide an app on my phone. I've shown you guys how to do that. I just find it really easy. So I went in, put in iron-on foil so that I knew exactly where I needed to set it. And this is how I kind of take my gifts to the next level. I've got a bunch of different chiffon 1.5-inch ribbons. I just get them from Amazon. And like I said, my daughter's birthday's coming up, so I just wanted to elevate her gifts a little bit. And instead of putting a tag on there, I just thought this would be prettier. So I cut out her name twice on the Cricut iron-on foil. And what I like to do is just take the ribbon and go ahead and tie it onto the bag so that I know exactly kind of where I need to place it. And then I just pressed her name down on both sides of the ribbon. Now, this is a great way to kind of elevate bridal showers, baby showers. You could even do Christmas and get some of the red and green and white chiffon ribbon just to kind of, like I said, it just makes the gifts a little more elevated. And since it's her 21st birthday, I'm trying to make it super special. So I just absolutely love this instead of just a plain old little cardstock tag. And this project is probably the easiest go-to for a gift idea or even to sell, especially if you make it double-sided so that whoever's buying it gets more bang for their buck. And that's just a monogrammed sign. I like to buy my 12-inch wood rounds from Amazon. Simply throw some paint on it, or you could even stain it, and then Cricut Design Space has so many different monogram styles you can pick and then put the last name on there and voila. This was specifically for one of my friends who wanted a sign by her pool. So that is why I'm kind of going the blue route here. But if you did a fall version and then a Christmas version on the back, that would go a long, long way. here are a few more DIYs that I have made in the past using different Cricut materials to get gifts ready ahead of time. So if you like to jump the gun and be ready right now, then some of these might come on handy. I will make sure to link the tutorials to all of these DIYs as well down below in the description box. And there you have it. I hope you found these DIYs helpful to get you ready for the upcoming holiday season. Let me know down below, what is your favorite DIY gift to make? Because I'm sure people are looking for ideas. Drop it down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Here are some more videos that you might enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.